Hey guys, it's Chris and welcome back to my channel and welcome to, what is it, 2019? Hi, it is 2019. Happy New Year. This is my first video of the new year. I did not film a video last week. I just kind of needed a refresher, a little break, and whenever I skip a week of filming, I feel like I forget how to film, I forget how to talk, I forget how to do everything, edit, upload, I forget it all. As you read from the title, this week's video is going to be very complex. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot for me to talk about. It's going to be heavy, starting the new year in a good way. Today we're going to be talking about eating disorders within the LGBT plus community, why they're so common, my experience, my story, and all of that. So if that's interesting to you, please stick around and listen to what I have to say. If not, then I understand. It's going to be a lot of just me talking, so I understand if you are bored by that. As I mentioned before, this topic is a very complex one, and I feel like in the whole realm of eating disorder research and LGBTQ plus research and the whole, I feel like this is a very new topic to be discussing. And by new, I don't mean like brand new. There are various articles, studies, statistics out there. With this all being said, this video is solely me talking as a 20-year-old white gay male. I do think that everybody's, I know that everybody's story, experiences are so different, and no matter who you are, where you come from, just everybody is going to have a different viewpoint on this, and everybody's story is going to be different. So before we do dive deep into this video, I do want to add a few statistics right here, just to kind of give you guys a perspective on where I'm coming from regarding this topic. So if you just Google like LGBT eating disorders, a lot comes up. A new survey by the Trevor Project found that more than 50% of LGBTQ youths who participated in its national survey had been diagnosed with an eating disorder. 71% of trans respondents had been diagnosed with an eating disorder, with anorexia being the most common disorder. Once again, I will leave all of these sources, these articles down below. If you go on the NIDA webpage, they have a lot of resources and a lot of information about this as well. In one study, gay and bisexual boys reported being significantly more likely to have fasted, vomited, or taken laxatives or diet pills to control their weight. Gay males are thought to only represent 5% of the total male population, but among males who have eating disorders, 42% identify as gay. Gay males were 7 times more likely to report binging and 12 times more likely to report purging than heterosexual males. There's a lot of information. I could go on and on about all the information out there, but I hope that kind of gives you a little perspective on where I'm coming from. And once again, I will leave a bunch of articles and resources down below for you to look at and do your own research on. Now, I do have to be honest, this video, it is taking me a lot to film. It's maybe one of the most hardest videos, one of the most preparation I've done, the most preparation I've done for a video in a while, because for the longest time, I was kind of hiding from this topic. I didn't want to talk about it. If anything, I was pretty dismissive of it in my past. I mentioned a few months ago that I am in the process of writing a book, and while doing so, I've been visiting a lot of really old teenage memories, childhood memories, and I would be doing a disservice to myself and my community if I do not right now say that, yes, I do think, you know, there is a link. I don't know if a link's the right word. Looking back at it now, I do believe there are factors that contributed to my eating disorder based on my sexuality, and that's something I've struggled to say in the past, as I just mentioned, because it's sad, it's scary, it's not something that you want to really believe. For this video, I am truly diving deep within the bowels of my brain, my mind, my soul, talking about this, because I am really not the kind of person who likes or enjoys talking about their sexuality in the slightest bit. For me, I believe that someone's sexuality is one of, if not the most personal things about that person, and I just don't like talking about it. It's very uncomfortable for me to talk about. I think it's important to talk about, I just don't like doing it, and it's not something that I truly identify with, or I don't know what the right word is, but it's just part of who I am. It's who I am. I don't see it as a big deal. I don't see it as anyone's business, as I don't see your sexuality as my business. Whenever somebody asks me, or whenever I try to pinpoint a time period when my eating disorder began developing, I always kind of think about my middle school years, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. I was, what, 11, 12 years old. This was, I hate to say this because I was literally a kid, but these were some of the darkest years of my life because of really bad bullying that I was going through in school. And what did all that bullying come down to? The fact that I was different. Now, was I out when I was 12 years old? Was I admitting to the world that I was gay? Absolutely not. I knew what being gay was. I knew about it. I knew I was different. I had not really come to terms with the fact that that could possibly be who I was. I just knew that I was different, and around that time period I did start expressing myself in very different ways, especially regarding how I dressed. I would dress, in my opinion, pretty flamboyantly for a 12-year-old boy in a Catholic school. I dressed pretty out there, and I kind of give myself a lot of credit for that, because although the bullying was very extreme, I kind of still stuck with who I was, and I wanted to express myself in wearing pink skinny jeans. I would be called a faggot almost every single day. I would have things thrown at me. I would be chased during recess. I would have people's genitals pushed in my face when I was sitting at recess. It was just like so traumatizing as a kid. In order to cope with the bullying and the feelings that I was feeling during that time, I did turn to restricting and reading really dark literature and really dark music, and resorting to eating disordered behaviors in order to distract myself and not feel anything at all. Instead of feeling like crap and worthless and, you know, all these things that these bullies were making me feel, I would not feel anything at all because I was just so focused on this and this and this and this, which I did not even realize was the baby steps of my disorder kind of coming to fruition. My eating disorder behaviors that went on when I was younger, like in middle school, that stemmed from nothing more than a distraction, a coping mechanism in order to distract myself from what was going on at school. As I got older, as I got into high school, especially like freshman, sophomore year, that was when a lot of the societal expectations of gay people kind of came into play. As I got older, I started looking at myself and my body in a different way, in a more, how do I say this? Like, how do I look attractive for people kind of way. High school is a time period when a lot of people kind of experiment with their first boyfriend, their first girlfriend. And it wasn't until sophomore year that I had officially come out, if you could even call it that. Sophomore year was also the year that I had my first experience with a guy, and I try every single day to block these memories out of my head, but somehow they always come up whenever I talk about this kind of stuff. I do want to talk about it because although during this time I was confident in my sexuality and I was openly saying, yes, I am gay, this was also like a very high point in my eating disorder. So many things were going on in my family life. in my sexual life. Like everything just came crashing down at once. I have many videos on my channel about my whole story, but just everything came crushing down very quickly, and then everything kind of added into my eating disorder kind of hitting a new high. As I mentioned before, I began looking at my body in a different way, in a more how could it look appealing to the male gay society eye, so to speak. And those expectations linked with my eating disorder, linked with my body dysmorphia. I had a very distorted vision of what my body looked like and what I thought it should look like. I wanted to look good, I wanted to look attractive, I wanted my body to be like, I wanted just everything about me to be like attractive to people, as weird as that may sound. And I felt like that all that depended on myself being fit. And the thing was, and the thing still is, honestly, my body dysmorphia has this bad habit of comparing me to that of a woman's body. Even like now, like my 20-year-old 6'1" male body to that of a petite woman. Like that's always what I compared myself to. Why did I compare myself to a woman's body? I'm not sure. I could go on and on and on about why. Was it because I was trying to attract the male like vision? I have no idea. It's just a very like complex thing to even talk about. And as I've gotten older, I'm almost 21 years old next month. I'm about 4 or 5 years into my recovery. I'm just altogether getting older. And I do find myself now comparing my body to kind of society's idea of what a gay man's body should look like. And in gay media, in gay culture, in society, it's not too diverse. It's not too inclusive of different body types, different body sizes, shapes. You're either kind of like a very toned, muscles, abs, ripped kind of guy, or you have the aesthetics of a slim, I don't know how else to say it, like skinny twink, for lack of a better word. It's almost like there are different groups for different body types, and society almost makes us choose one. It almost forces us to choose one. I used to think, and I still do think some days, that if I want to, succeed, if I want to look attractive, if I want to find a partner in the future, like I need to look like either one of these people. And some days I want both. The thing is, my eating disorder always wants me to be thin, wants me to be underweight, just wants me to look as skinny as possible. So of course, that mindset, puts me into one category of body types for, like, whatever. And on some days, my body dysmorphia agrees with that side of my brain, but on the other, the other times, it wants me to be toned. It wants me to get better abs, to get muscles, to go to the gym, to look like a cliche, like, I'm not sure how you say it. If you go on Tumblr, if you go anywhere, if you just look up like gay man, you will see this perfect Barbie Ken-like body type. You have the muscles, you have the face, you have the abs, you have the arm muscles. I'm not even sure what they're called, biceps. I'm not sure, but there is such a distinctive image in gay media, in gay culture, just in gay society, in society in general. And this does not only go for gay people. I feel like this is totally a thing for like everybody. There is just such an ideal body shape, body type, body layout for people like you. And if you do not look like this, then you're kind of like invalid in the community. There are so many expectations in society when it comes to gay people and how they should look, how they should act, how they should dress, how they should like act in society. And regarding like how we should look, how I mentioned before, society almost makes us choose what group we want to belong to, how we want to look, and then that's like our label for the rest of our life. I believe that this is where a lot of body image issues stem from when it comes to the LGBT plus community, because society wants us to look like that image of the stereotypical perfect person. And I found myself, and I'm sure other people as well, going to the extremes to truly get that image. At the end of the day, eating disorders are mental illnesses, and they are not all about looks. They do not just develop overnight. They do not develop just based on one comment that somebody makes. They are very, very deeply rooted and can be developed based on many factors in one's life. But when it comes to the LGBT plus community, I do think that there are many, many factors out there in the world that do subject you know, us to develop an eating disorder. And NIDA also has a very, very good, I couldn't put this any better myself, they have a list of a few potential factors that may play a role in the development of an eating disorder. Fear of rejection or experience of rejection by friends, family, internalized negative messages, beliefs about oneself due to sexual orientation, experiences of violence or post-traumatic stress disorder, discrimination due to one's sexual orientation or gender identity, being a victim of bullying due to one's sexual orientation, discordance between one's biological sex and identity, inability to meet body image ideals within some LGBTQ plus cultural contexts. It could go on and on and on and on. Altogether, I do think that there is still so much to be researched, so much to be studied, so much to just find out about this. And I think a lot of it just stems from people not talking about it, being too scared to talk about it. So I welcome you, if you're comfortable, to share your story, share your thoughts. And if you do not experience, you know, stuff like this, I do welcome you to listen to people's stories, experiences. It can be very hard to talk about these things, and once again, I feel like I have just scratched the surface, but I do feel kind of liberated saying a few things I did in this video, because for so long I didn't think about this. I didn't want to think it was true or real. Thank you all so much for watching. This was a very, very long video, so thank you for being here, for listening. I love you all so much, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys!